Okay, here we are. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world.
Yes, happy moon day and the start of a new week.
It's Rachel and Jamie.
We need a little jingle, Rachel.
We do. I know. I have been thinking about that. There is this like Nordic thing that I sing, but it's a bit melancholy. It's all like minor keys, and I just thought, no, we need something a bit.
Yeah, little pick you up in the morning or in the evening.
Right, I'm going to start fiddling with my computer now.
Yeah, I will fiddle as well, really quickly.
That doesn't sound quite right, does it? When we say that? Forget we said that. We're on camera.
Oh dear, it's going to be one of those shows.
Hey, I tell you what, I've seen some really, sorry to start the show talking about rude things, but I've seen some really rude things lately. There's like, it was on Elephant. There was someone writing all about all sorts of very lewd things. I did read it though.
Like, it was so lewd, but I read it.
I was a bit like, fancy that. I didn't know you could get, I've missed out on this whole adult internet thing. I know nothing about it at all. So it's like,
wow. Yeah. Well, truth is being revealed. So people are really speaking. That Scorpio moon, man, it's in play around. It was out. And so everybody's just, we're going to speak our truth. And some truth is like, you could pull back on that just a little bit. It doesn't need to be that truth, but.
The night before that full moon, Benji would not go to sleep.
Oh.
And I could not sleep either. But on the day of the full moon, we all slept really, really well. So the build up to it was just insane. It was just, and then once it happened, it was like, oh, thank God for that. We all sort of collapsed in an exhausted pile.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, my other partner, Lindsay from Oracles, said she has a very sensitive son. And she did say, I want to say it might have been that evening as well, that he had difficulty sleeping, had a really rough night.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken. It might have been the night of, it was the day before or the day of the full moon, one of the two. So, yeah.
It's one of the worst nights we've had with him. And then he woke up at 5 the next morning as well. It was like, because I thought, oh, he's never going to wake up in the morning. And then he woke up at 5. And I was like, yeah.
Yep, that sounds very similar to her story. Absolutely. Oh, boy. Big one. I know dreams have been rather interesting, too. I've been having really interesting dreams.
I've been having lots of dreams. Yeah. Mine had jellyfish in.
Jellyfish? Wow. Can't think of the symbolism off the top of my head for that, but...
No, well, I think it's partly because, like, I go, well, my Monday mornings now, I go swimming in the fjord. Although swimming is slightly too large a word for it because it's quite cold. So I just sort of go in and go,
dip,
swim 5 times and get out and then do it again. But there's jellyfish in the water. So, I meet jellyfish quite a lot.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was more of like a spring.
No, it's fjord. So the fjord is like, the sea comes in. It's I think it's the Baltic. Yeah, it's the Baltic Sea we've got here. It's not another side of Denmark. It's the North Sea. We've got the Baltic, but there's lots of spring water coming in. So there's a lot of fresh water in it as well.
I see. That is very interesting because I was guided to wear some of my Baltic amber today. Yeah, and I read something, and I talk about, a little bit later about this little magical flower I want to talk about. I read something and doing some research on it about it being connected to the Baltic people or the Baltic people having some sort of a belief about it, but I can't. Slipped off the top of my head.
Yeah, we got the bit of the water that's above us is called Exude, I think. And that's got, on the other side, I think there's some sort of ancient like burial place in Sweden or something, but I'm really bad at geography. I get really mixed up. So because I'm streaming this to our page, I'm streaming it to my profile. as well, because people pick it up on there, and I can
Mm-hmm.
see Angie. I think Angie's on there, and Catherine. Hello.
Yes, I just seen as well. Oh my goodness. And you know what else is going on that I can see is there are subtitles.
No. What does that
Yes.
mean?
So, you know how when you watch a movie that's not in your language, and so they have to translate it. So when you're watching the movie, you see all the little the words and what's being spoken across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see this, but we have subtitles.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's new. I didn't
That
know.
is new. I don't know how that happened.
And I know I can see my camera's like really small. We try to fix that, but we don't know. We don't know.
To me, it looks okay, but yeah,
It
on the
does.
live, it
It
looks
does on
really
here
small.
when you look at our one, but on that one, but yeah.
Really strange. Well, I do see also we have Carmela and Flo and Deborah, Annie. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here. If you are here and I didn't say hello to you, it's because Facebook is not letting me see that. So if you comment and just let us know that you're here, then we know
Sometimes
you are.
it hides some of you for no apparent reason at all. But
yeah,
we're connecting with you all from our heart centers.
we are.
You know, I saw it was really interesting ages ago. A bit of research that, like, they could see that your heart reacts before someone says something to you, or you see something that's going to give you an emotional reaction.
Wow.
And this was not some metaphysical thing. This was like, you know, like normal
scientific. Wow.
Normal research. And they're like, oh yeah, we can't explain this. And I was like, I can.
Yeah, because I am, you know, as an like empath or, you know, energetically, we feel before we actually know, before we actually see, because everything is first, you know, in the other layers before it's in the physical. So, wow. But I never really thought about that. Very interesting. I do know that my dogs always know I'm going to do something before I do it. And that's because they are also very empathic and very energetically sensitive and also telepathic.
They are totally that's it. Animals are telepathic. It took me years to realize that. So I had my cat Jake for 15 years. He died when he was 15. And after I'd had him a lot of years, I suddenly realized one day I found myself going towards the door to open it. This might have been when he started getting ill, when he, you know, was getting, because he got a tumor, and I wasn't allowed to let him out. And I found myself just unconsciously going towards the door. And then I thought, how did that happen? I sort of traced back, and I thought, I saw a picture in my mind of me opening the door for him. And I looked at him, I was like, you little so-and-so. I realized he was telepathically like sending me these things, and I was just acting on them without thinking about it. I was like, oh,
yes.
God.
Yes, I do animal communication, and this is the way that I'm able to, this is exactly how I'm able to communicate with them. It doesn't matter if they're deceased or living, I'm able to communicate, and they are so eager to share. And the way they communicate through their little symbols and messages is just quite comical and adorable.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, Reese. Hi, Hane, right? Hannah.
Hannah.
Hannah. It's like Hannah, but Hannah. It's a beautiful.
Well, it's just I'm just saying Hannah with an English accent. You can just say it American.
Oh,
she'll know you mean her.
But I rather like an English accent. Oh, my friends know that I'm always. I have no idea why I do it, but I do. I just go right into like probably a very shabby version of an English accent all the time. And my daughter and I will sometimes just have conversations. You know, Mummy, would you like a spot of tea?
Well, I can't do an American accent either, so.
I don't know what it is. I just have an array of accents that I go into sometimes. It's really funny. Maybe I'm pulling forth all of my ancient lineages and communicating in these different accents.
I'm just looking at my camera here because there was something. So I got Thomas to have a look at this, and he said, I think we should do that. And I was going, no, I don't think we should do that. And now I'm thinking, perhaps I should have done that. But now he's not here. I just wanted to go and
Oh,
get him. Because the thing is, it's almost impossible to test it. It's like, hang on, I'm just going to get my husband. Hang on.
Okay, go ahead, take your time. So I will say hello to Laura and Karen and Kathleen. Welcome. Thank you for being here. How's everybody doing today? How has everybody enjoyed I would say, the week of the Scorpio full moon? How has it served you? Kathleen. I know. I am. I'm very rarely serious. Hi, Thomas. I'm very rarely serious. The majority, I am very, very silly.
Perhaps you can't change.
Gotta laugh. So we are seeing a cameo of Rachel's husband, Thomas, right now, who is serving as our technical advisor and assistant.
No, it's not coming up now.
I don't quite think he can hear me.
Try the square.
Hi, Maria. Oh, he did it.
Thank you.
Well, wait. Well, we have a delay here with our live on Facebook. So I'm waiting for it to see if it'll fix itself. Wait till you watch the playback. I'm sitting here introducing Thomas.
Oh, now see, I have to change it to a square now.
Yeah, now it's a bigger square.
Oh, well.
Was it always like that?
No, it's because I was using my phone.
I see.
And now I'm using like a really expensive like HD web camera.
So what's the message? What is the message in that?
It was because I needed to get a new microphone for my phone. I was like, I don't want to have to buy something else, so I'll just try the web camera, and then it's like it won't play.
No.
But it's anyway.
Oh, yes, the foggy. Karen says foggy today. I asked everybody how they were doing today and how they've been. Louis Briones Salvaran, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Salvaran, says essay classroom maybe. Okay, I can't read this, so I'm not sure if you're able to. So I apologize. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's trying to assist in maybe us figuring out what's going on. It's definitely not this language.
Okay. I can have a look. I just need to get the page up. How's your weekend been? Anyway, your week. How's your week been?
It's been good. It's been busy, which is interesting. You know, I'm trying to really stay out of that busy. I made a pact with myself to stay out of busy. Yeah. I'm not doing that anymore. I have, decided from this point forward, I'm going to spend much more time just being. However, things have seemed to pick up. I think we talked a little bit about that last week. All of a sudden, the energy has just picked up. And, thankfully, I've been very grateful and blessed to have clients this week. But also, I taught for the first time ever, a live online Reiki training class for the second degree, which is it's interesting and kind of funny at the same time because it is remote healing. Level 2 is all about remote healing. So the fact that it was taught remote was kind of like maybe a little bit of a ha-ha from spirit.
I've got subtitles coming up. I've got no comments. That's really weird, isn't it?
Technology. Is there a Mercury retrograde coming up? I know. Saturn? Did Saturn?
I was going to ask you, have all these retrogrades happen?
So the 13th.
Felt like it had at the weekend.
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken because there's so many retrogrades coming right now that I might be wrong. But I want to say Saturn may have actually gone retrograde. But I know Venus goes retrograde on the 13th, and that's the one that kind of stood out a little bit more to me.
Yeah. So that's like in 2 days, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and energetically, once we get into that 2-3 day mark before something, you can energetically start to feel something. So I do want to talk a little bit about, not too much about it, but I guess while we're figuring things out, Venus retrograde, the planet Venus really does tend to rule over areas of love, relationships, but it's not solely those relationships, not romantically. It's family, it's your home life, all of those things, your passions, what you love. And so when it goes retrograde, as we know, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's an opportunity for you to reevaluate those areas in your life. So I feel, especially with Taurus, we're still in the zodiac sign of Taurus, which is also, that's its home planet. So it is all about that love and the heart, specifically higher heart. So I feel like it's giving us that prompting to reevaluate where we can build more solid, loving relationships in our life, or how we can build more solid, loving relationships, and how we can even bring more love into our life. So that doesn't just have to be about, it's like I just said, I'm kind of trying to stay out of the busy, whereas in the past, before this isolation happened, I would book myself up and maybe give myself one day off a week. Yeah. Maybe. I really would book myself up because it was just about trying to help as many people as I could help. And then I wasn't really taking enough time out for myself. And I feel like now we're beginning to move away from that. Isolation is trying to teach us how to literally go within, how to just be, because that's really where the magic happens. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later too. Just being really does open you up to magic and inspiration. So it's starting to shift the way that we do things. So I feel like now I want to start to give myself almost like a half and half, a 50-50 of 50-50 of non-action and a 50-50 of action.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing like busy in a chunk. And then I'm like, right, I'm going to do some yoga, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm just going to sit down, and I'm doing like a bit of this and a bit of this rather than a lot of this. And, I really should have it's just like in moments. And it's since the lockdown that I did that, because I figured like I have to survive this. And we had Benji at home with us for, 6 weeks or something. Yeah. So, yeah. And it's worked. And I just like, got to keep this up. I've got to. Yeah. It's exactly. And that's what it is. This isolation from a big picture perspective is serving to teach us how to do things differently that are more in alignment with our needs as individuals, with our love. And that's what Venus retrograde is, I feel, coming in to serve, to teach us how to bring more love into our lives. And again, that's not just about the love of others. It's the love for what you do, the love of life, the love of self. How many people have sat down, and I know I can raise my hand at points in their life and said, I really can't stand this life. I really can't stand doing what I do. I really can't stand this anymore. You're just existing. You're floating through the process, not enjoying life. And that's sad. So that's what I think Venus retrograde is teaching us. How can I bring more love into my life and into my relationships? How can I start to do things that I love to do versus what I don't love to do? So great plan to sit down and make with yourself, everybody. Yeah. And it is all just love at the moment, isn't it? The lesson is like how to do that. So, I know you saw it. I did a Sophia emanation this week. I managed to broadcast it sideways. That was particularly talent of me, I think. But the energies were all there. And I'm going to do that again on Thursday. So this is on our the same name as this page, Evolving into the Cosmic Heart, but it's a group and it's a members only. And you're all invited to come and try it because it's free until June. And then we're going to charge $22. But also, I mean, I know we haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, Jamie, but I was also thinking, like, if people are really hard up because of, like, they've just lost their job or something, I mean, just tell us and, it's okay. You can have it. I mean, I don't want people to miss out on this. But what I was going to say was, so I sat and emanated. So I got initiated as a priestess of Sophia years ago. I don't want to think about how many. And I just totally love, and I just love that energy. And I used to light a pink candle. This was one of the practices we had to do. You lit a pink candle, and as soon as I lit the candle, she was just there, and I've dreamt about her, and I just love her. So I haven't done this for years, and I did it again last Thursday, and like streamed it out, and like just watching it back, I just like totally feel the energies. And when I lit that candle, my son had just gone out the door screaming with his dad. So I was like, like this. And then by the end of it, I was just like, I was zen. I was completely zen. And then when he came home, he was fine. I mean, this is just where he is at the moment. So, because we spoke to the school and we spoke to his doctor, his psychiatrist, and they said, it's all the change. If the kid's like Benji, because like, he's only 7. It's still really new for us, all this.
And he's very energetically sensitive, he seems, as well. Yeah. So, I mean, all of the energy around, you know, in the environment.
Yeah. But I mean, I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought having to wash his hands 6 times a day and all his routine had gone. I hadn't thought that it would stress him out that much. I mean, because he has been going really, really nuts. And then it's because I thought he was having a breakdown, and oh my God, I was like, and once they said that, I was just like, I calmed right down, and my husband calmed right down, because me and Thomas are also really sensitive. We're like red setters or something, you know, we're like these dogs that suddenly get, we're all like worried about everything. So, Sophia, oh my God. So I thought, right, I'm going to do this every week this month. I don't know if I'll do it next month, but this week, and I'm going to do it. I only get half an hour when Thomas, oh God, he works in a university. They're not opening the universities until who knows? Because I'm like, can't you let the staff go back? Because there's all these empty buildings. They're teaching online.
Right.
And there's me and him working in an apartment, and he's got a bad back, and his special desk that goes up and down is at work. But they said, we'll deliver your desk to your home. I was like, oh, thank you. I was really hoping they would just open it just for him because of his back, but they're not going to. Yeah. But so I have half an hour when he takes Benji to school. I have half an hour, and I'm going to sit and emanate. Because like if someone's around, I can't do it. I need that silence.
You need that.
Because otherwise my nervous system just... Because I can sit and channel with headphones on if he's here. That's fine. But the emanation, I like... No, I need space to emanate.
And I tuned into it, and and I caught the replay, and actually tuned in live, but I did the replay, and it was quite powerful for me. First of all, yes, you're right. It was I felt so at peace and so grounded. But I do work with the Sophia energy quite a bit, but even this was an experience that I had during it that I hadn't had before. And so there was something really special that happened between the energy that you brought in. So thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. And this is like, you know, I just, you know, without sort of sounding like, oh, I'm amazing. But it's one of the gifts that I have is to be able to electromagnetically send out energies like that. And it's just like my energy body is just built like that. It's not anything I did in this life to be clever, or I didn't spend years developing. I just, it happens.
And it comes through your auric field.
And so I think I should use that. You know, it's like it's meant to be used. And you know, I do lots of Sarah channelings and things free on YouTube and all the rest of it. But this just feels really special, and like it's sort of supposed to be like, you know, very
No, I really enjoy it. So there's quite a few bit of magical benefits from checking out our Evolving into the Cosmic Heart private group. It, you know, from the emanations, I just love that word, emanations. I'm going to be emanating today. I love it. From the emanations to the channeled messages we're receiving. One of the messages that I received in there for the beginning of the month, which was channeled with the energy of the dolphins and Yeshua, and sharing this amazing information about the heart and the love for this month that we're all going to be experiencing. That's in there. Every week I'm starting to receive different symbols, which are symbols that people may have seen before, but I'm being shown how to help others work with them energetically. So it's quite powerful. I received this morning the second one, so I hope to share that either
Can I
today or
tell you about the
tomorrow.
first one? Because I had a couple of
Yes.
experiences with that. So Sunday I went out for a walk. Did a little route round some of the different springs in Roskilde, and it was lovely, beautiful day. And there's this huge tree that's sort of in a like a college garden, but you can go in there. It's not like locked up. And I thought, I've always wanted to go and sit next to that tree. So I did. And then I was really surprised because it turned out to be a beech, because it looks like it sort of hangs like this. So it looks like a willow tree. You know, willow trees like hang.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beech. And I sat down on it and I suddenly thought, I'm supposed to use that symbol. So I visualized it in my head, and I visualized it, you know, because it sort of flows around and goes into each other. And like, if I try and do it now, it's quite difficult. But when I was sitting at that beach, it was really easy. And I was just like visualizing it all around. And I put myself in the middle. And just for that, and just for about a minute, I just sat there like in a state of ecstasy.
Oh, that's the perfect word. That's the perfect word for it. Ecstatic bliss. Because it's really connecting with that higher heart, bringing us right into it. And the only word to explain what the higher heart brings is ecstatic bliss. So I love that you just said ecstasy.
It was a bit strange, and I haven't quite worked this out, because I want to say it wasn't grounded, but that's not exactly right, because it wasn't like it was like floating up there and like, woo. But on the other hand, it wasn't quite down here either. It was sort of in this like other space or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I did it again today. Where was I? I can't remember. Maybe I was over at my violet spiral. But there was a similar thing happening, and it's like I haven't experienced that before. So
that's interesting. That's really interesting. I love to hear the feedback, and anybody who's already in the group. And again, anybody is welcome to join. It is, again, as we said, free for the month of May. So just let us know if you need the link, and we will help you find that. But anybody who's experienced it or worked with it this week or whatnot, I would love to hear back, your experiences with it. When I work with it, it immediately appears. It just appears. Like, I don't even have to ask. It just happens and it appears there. And then I start to direct that I want to work with it. And it actually moves. I noticed it starts above me, kind of like above my crown area. And then it like grows itself down. And so I'm probably sitting like in the middle of it, like you said. And I don't notice this initially, but afterwards, it just completely yanks me down into the earth right towards the end of working with it. So I'm not sure if it's whatever is occurring, because it is, as I said, and you'll find this when you look at the group and the message with it. It is doing some higher heart work, and it's working to be that bridge. So it's very interesting to hear that.
Yeah, it is really, and because I have that symbol over my door. I've had that symbol like for years and years and years, and I sit and draw on it, and I've put it on channelings, and I have never worked with it energetically until Jamie suggested it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like,
me either.
It's like it just never occurred to me. But I think that, so I was sort of imagining, I was sort of in the middle in the yoni thing, and that's it. At the time, I had a thought. It was like, because I talk about the Hri Padma being the divine spark in between the heart and the solar plexus. It's like a Hindu thing, Sanskrit teaching, and maybe that was it, because it was like being in that place. You're sort of in the world, but not of it, or something. It was like. It was good.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I've been working with it every day. And then today I went to work with it and a new symbol appeared. I've seen and been given the symbol before, and I even received information as to why, but not a lot. And I haven't continued to work with it. So I'm going to be sharing that between today or tomorrow, depending on when I have some time to sit with it more and ask for more guidance and information with working with it. But I love this, and it's right up your alley, because I do believe it is a binge room.
Okay. Oh,
So
I'm excited to hear about that. And I wanted to say about the Sophia thing. I got this. I was reading something, and I thought, oh yes, that's what she was doing, and it was something about like releasing blocks in our energy, so that soul parts can come in, because we're like, you know, me and Jamie were having a conversation Friday, and we were talking about birthing ourselves, weren't we? Yeah. And part of that birthing is we're bringing in the bits of us that have been missing. And that was it. It was like, yeah, she's like, but it was so calm and smooth and easy. It was like, but then she's a goddess, isn't she? So it's like, yeah.
Not so difficult for
No.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, I think that's wonderful, because the week prior to that, we had shared, or you had shared on here, about the Vesca Pisces symbol that wanted to come forward for everybody. And you pulled that card. And that's really what that symbol represents. It is the, you know, the life, the spirit, and, or I should say the ether and the physical, or, you know, coming together to manifest those two polarities that are necessary to create that spark of life. And so we are all moving through the yoni of the Vesca Pisces at this time. I love that we can just say yoni whenever we want to here.
We can.
Yeah. So and that's what's happening. We're giving birth to ourselves. Likewise, Mother Earth is giving birth to herself as well.
Yes. That was something I wanted us to have a sort of a positive visualization about, actually, with the coronavirus, but we'll get to that. Yeah, but I just to say, I can't get the comments up for the page. It's like,
I'm just looking right now at them. I do see Dawn is here. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Donna. Kimberly, Mohammed, welcome, and happy Monday to all of you. Yeah, and I think that's all. If I'm missing any comments, I do apologize. But yeah, the other comment you will have to check out.
Yeah, I will. I always have a look afterwards. Yeah. But you're going to do like a full thing, aren't you? Talking about in your Moon Day thing later. You're going to talk more about.
Yes.
You just want to tell people where to find that.
Yes. Yeah. So I have another page, and I tend to share it when I do go live onto Evolving the Cosmic Heart, so people can find it. But my other page is Magical Me, and magic is spelled with a CK. So Magical Me, and every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I do go live, and there's a replay there as well. And it's my Moon Day Oracle message for the week. So I like to talk about any news or announcements that's going on, but then I also pull a card, an oracle card, for guidance for the week, what we as a collective most need to know going into the energy of the week. And I talk a little bit about the energy and the empathy forecast, I call it. So anything that's kind of coming up. And then we work with mudras at the end of it, and it's a mudra for the week to assist us. So it's one thing to hear all of this information that comes forward. It's like, well, what do you do with it? Well, then the mudra kind of backs us up there and helps us take that energy and start to facilitate whatever growth is being asked to occur at this time. So yes, every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the most part. I go with divine timing.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. So I will be talking later this evening today about some more things, and then seeing what else Spirit wishes to share, because I never know until I pull the cards.
Yes. It's exciting, isn't it? Living like this.
It really is.
And we also talked about Lilith the other day, didn't we?
We did. Yes.
I feel like it's a good time to bring her up where we are. I don't know if it is like planetary, but she's just good with all those darker things, isn't she?
Yes. It was my area. I love working with shadow work, and that's not meaning to be taken as evil or manipulative or scary, fearful. No, this is we all have polarity, and just like feminine, masculine, we also have light and dark. And you cannot know the light until you fully know the dark, until you fully know your dark. We all have dark aspects of ourselves. And so there are dark aspects or shadow aspects that the divine feminine brings in her many faces. Black Madonna actually came forward during last week's Moon Day message, and she wanted to work with all of us this week. And she was coming forward to help us understand that we've got to go in. We've got to face all of those parts of ourselves that just aren't serving our truth anymore, those parts that we don't share, parts that we don't want to acknowledge. And this is the most potent form of healing work there is. And so Lilith is one of those other ambassadors of the feminine warrior, the dark face of the Sophia energy. Ooh,
this is my Black Madonna. She's a pebble I found on the beach. And she just stands there sort of looking like a Black Madonna. I have like a mini altar
it's gorgeous.
next to my computer. Now, if people don't know who Lilith is, I've got this book here. This is St. Mary Magdalene, and it's a Gnostic. It's from the Sophian Gnostic tradition, and it's written by Tao Malachi. And this is traditions that have been handed down like orally for like centuries, and they believe it came from Mary Magdalene, and it has got some real gems in here, some lovely bits. And this says here, it says, Eve and Lilith. In the beginning, Eve and Lilith were joined together, the image of the supernal woman, a pure emanation. Some say that Adam was overwhelmed by the glory and grace of the perfect woman. Thus, her power and luminosity was reduced. I don't know if we can blame Adam for that, but that's what it says here. Lilith being divided from Eve, and Adam received the submissive woman. Others say that Lilith alone was Adam's first wife, but she was not submissive enough. When they made love, Adam always demanded to be on top. Therefore, Lilith left him, finding the lack of equality unacceptable. Lilith was a pure supernal emanation, but Eve was created to replace her. In any case, Lilith and Eve were divided, and the glory of womanhood was incomplete. I like that. And I think the things in here, I don't think they're supposed to be like literally true. They're metaphorically true. So rather than being the truth, there's a truth to it. And like when I read this book, it's like my soul just sort of goes, it can feel there's stuff in there, but I love Lilith.
I actually came across information many years ago, the very similar story about the whole, the sexual aspect of between Adam and Lilith and her being his first wife. And that causing that rift that created the separation, and something in me just sparked to life, and it was like my soul just resonated and identified with it. And it isn't putting blame, this is not to put blame, again, it is just a metaphoric representation of how the separation between feminine and masculine occurred.
But that's the it's St. Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of St. Mary Magdalene, and it's all these handed down stories. But I think I should probably be on commission, because I think I've managed to sell quite a lot of copies over the years, because it has got some real gems in there. But Lilith sort of,
I'm gonna have to check that one
out. I was born in 1970, and I was, and I think these things are still very much there, but I was brought up very much to be a good girl. There wasn't any sort of Lilith role models for me there, and that's why I relish her so much, because she's not being a good girl. And it sort of gives an excuse to all the other parts of me. It's like, I can be like that, because like when I get irate and stressed and all the rest of it, part of me is going, cringing, trying to get away from it. And then if I think of Lilith, I think, just allow you, it doesn't mean I have to go around like hitting everybody or anything, but allow yourself to like, have these feelings and be these things. And
And that is shadow work. And that's why there are these aspects of the dark. We should say that, well, the dark goddesses. And even though they have an aspect of light to them as well, as we all do, we have that light in the dark. But again, they teach us that this is where the magic happens. It comes from you working through your shadows, allowing them, holding space for them. And one thing that's very interesting about Lilith is that I could say that from a very young age, her energy must just be like, she's like my mentor or something, because I've always had this very rebellious thing about me since I was very young, where very much like Lilith, no, this isn't going to happen this way. I've been that from a very young age. And I've recently been really getting pulled into astrology. And I always said I never really wanted to work with astrology because it's very complicated. It hurts the brain sometimes. But suddenly it's just here and it's just happening for me and it's coming through me all the time now. I stumbled across something that talked about Lilith and how Black Moon Lilith being in a certain aspect of people's charts, their birth charts is what I'm talking about. It meant that she kind of claimed you as her own, that you were like a daughter of Lilith, which symbolically or metaphorically represents you being an advocate of the warrior feminine, here to help others find their inner warrior and embody it, embrace it, because that's where the healing occurs. We cannot rise into love if we are not owning and expressing and honoring those darker aspects of ourself, working through it, and then giving others assistance and voice to those things so we can clear it, not to indulge it, but to honor it. And my Black Moon, everybody has the Black
so
Moon
that's
Lilith,
men
I think, somewhere
as well.
in
It's
their
not
charts,
just
but
women, is it? We all have this energy.
Men and women. Absolutely. We all have this energy, and it's about honoring the that sacred feminine within men and women within the world. And so these specific energy or people who have it it's particularly falling in your midheaven. Long and short of that, it's like your overseeing purpose, I guess you could say, like what you're meant to put out here into the world, who you're meant to be in the world. Mine is right there. Black Moon Lilith is right in my midheaven, and she is basically like she kind of mentors me, I guess you could say, and to assist others in bringing back the healing of the sacred feminine. I'm going to go and have a look at mine
after we finish, because I've got it on my natal chart. I just haven't read it for a while, and I can't think. But I remember finding it very interesting when I read it. Yeah.
It put my whole life, it was like one of those epiphany moments that as soon as I saw that and came across that, it was like divine. The information just stumbled in my lap. And for the first time ever, I had this really full circle epiphany of who I am and why I've been here and why I've been doing the things I do. So it's about the healing. It's about wound healing and womb healing,
it's
men and women alike.
It? Because it's like we are familiar with Eve, and we kind of feel we've been Eve, and it seems to be like it's Lilith we need to take back, isn't it, to make ourselves whole? It's like...
Yeah, because essentially we are both of them. We are both of them, but our Lilith has been repressed.
There's a story in this book I want to read. Can I read it? It's about Lilith. It's a story about Mary Magdalene, and it's under a bit. It says the journey into Babylon. And it says that Mary Magdalene was raped. So it's a bit heart-wrenching, this. But I really love reading it. So it says, it is said that when Magdalene was being raped, Lilith, the dark Sophia, was watching, and that she saw the light in Mary and was attracted to it. Now, Lilith has no love of men because of her plight with Adam before the beginning of time, and she has no love of submissive women because of her jealousy of Eve, who took her place with Adam. In Mary, she saw something else, something that fascinated her. And seeing the evil and violence of the men who were raping Mary Magdalene, she was inclined towards Mary and felt for her. Thus, Lilith waited until evening. Once the darkness of night came, it is said she entered into Mary Magdalene and all of her rage and brooding darkness entered with her. Really, it was only to be expected for what transpires in the experience of a woman being raped. Now, at the moment Lilith entered into Mary, the robber who was raping Mary was the leader of the horde, and he intended to take her for himself. Instead, with her magic power, Lilith slew him, so that shortly thereafter he fell dead. The bandits did not associate this with Magdalene. They took her, along with all of the women, and sold her into slavery in Babylon. Thus, it has been said that Eve and Lilith were joined in St. Mary of Magdala, the bright and dark Sophia, although it was Lilith who held dominion while Our Lady was in exile in Babylon. Although perchance Lilith led her into great darkness, she also served to preserve her life. And as it came to pass, she facilitated Mary's restoration to her inmost heart's desire. And that is being reunited with her other half of her soul, which is Yeshua. But when I first read that, I just cried and cried without really knowing why, because it's not exactly a happy ending. But on the other hand, there's you know, like I said, it's like my soul responds to these stories, and there's some deep truth in them.
I was covered. My whole body went into chills, and like I felt this cold chill come over me, which is very much like how spirit or my higher self shows me confirmation of things. And something happened, and I kind of tuned out for a second, and then I came back in. And as soon as you said I don't know if you said the word reconciliation, but that's the word I heard. So my cards for the day, I have to show you this because you cannot make this up. I have not had a chance to like fully integrate their message. I just pulled them, took a picture, posted it on my personal page.
Yeah.
Reconciliation. Okay. The dark-haired and the fair-haired. And I heard while you were talking that what is currently occurring is reconciling the dark wounds between the oppression and the that great, I guess that great wound that did happen in the sacred feminine, and coming together to unite those two that have been pulled in opposite, the two halves of us that have been pulled in separate directions, coming together. This was the card that is channeled for the month.
That's
right. With the Yeshua and the dolphins. Yeah. This came out with it. And it said, depths of love. Let go of fear to jump into love.
That just makes
Let go beyond attachments.
Because after I did that Sophia emanation, I wrote underneath that while I was doing it, I could feel like my heart center was like being pulled open. And it wasn't like violent, but on the other hand, it was a bit like when you give birth. Do you know what I mean? It's not subtle, is it? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like a real like physical. It was like a real like physical thing, and it was like, my God. But I was so calm and zen at the time that I was just like, it was okay. But there's something about like with me, and I know these are collective things as well. Like my heart center is just being, it's like, no, you can't stay little and small anymore. You have to like get it open, babe.
And last week when the Black Madonna came forward, that was one thing that I said. I actually shared a personal story about, not specific details, but a situation that had happened when I was at the lowest point of my life, or one of the very lowest. And Black Madonna she came forward then, and she taught me that you have to break. Your heart has to break and shatter to receive more love, the more light. So it is really about showing us these wounds, these situations, because we all carry them, men and women, Mother Earth. We all carry them. We're holding them. And what's happening by carrying and holding them is that we're unable to resolve the conflict between the two, between that wound. So finally, we see it, we express it, we feel it, and then we bring love and bring peace to it. And this is how we reconcile those warring
and I can
aspects
feel like
of
my
self.
throat chakra, as we're sort of talking, it's sort of going. I can feel it like opening up. And that was the thing I wanted to say to you about. So Jamie gave this to me. It is, what's it called? It's pink amethyst.
It's pink amethyst.
We were working with making our spirals.
It's gorgeous.
Last year, and she brought it over to from America when she came to England, to Glastonbury last year, and she gave it to a friend of mine, Louise, and then Louise posted it to me to Denmark from the UK. But we were using these energies. We were using this, and what's the other one called? Lepidolite. Is that it? Lepidolite. And they sort of work together on different frequencies to help like grow these violet flame spirals that me and Jamie are always mentioning, especially me. And I have some lepidolite essence that a friend of mine, she makes these amazing essences, Marilyn Smith. And she gave it to me for ages. I don't know why. Ages ago, like a couple of years. And then recently, because I got the stock bottle, I started using it. And I'm just spraying it into my aura, like every day. And I've been thinking, like today, I was thinking, I don't know why. And then I suddenly realised it's an opening. It's an opening because, like for you, like the things we talk, and this is why I love doing this with you, Jamie. The things we talk about, like I grew up like learning that I had to shut everything in my head off. I couldn't say any of it. So I just learned to like, don't ever talk about what's really in my head, because you know, of course, what's really in my head is like quite unusual compared to maybe someone like Boris Johnson. I don't know, who knows. Yes. Perhaps he's seeing pink unicorns as well. But and this essence that I'm spraying, the lepidolite, and also this as well, it's like they're all sort of bound together. They're all working to like, they've been working like all this time to like open and open and open, so that I actually share and say these things. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Because it has been really hard for me to go through that journey. And I'm still, you know, I'm still on it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you think about that too. I mean, not just this lifetime, but we are also carrying, many of us are still carrying those persecution wounds. And that also is something Scorpio brought forward with that full moon, was healing the persecution, taking back our power from all of those situations, people, aspects of ourself that have been imposing their dominance over us to take our free will, to take our power from us. So Scorpio full moon is we're rising up now and communicating our truth, or embodying more of our truth by saying no more and taking our power back from those situations.
That's something else I was thinking of. I hope you're going to do some more light language on the group as well. And you only did a little bit last time.
Absolutely.
I want you to do it longer.
Okay.
But we're doing
I will
a
set
thing,
the intention.
We're going to do a thing on the 22nd of May.
We're doing a thing. Every time you say a thing, I actually have flashes of like the Nordic.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Didn't they call their gatherings a thing?
Yeah. And then they would have a big one once a year, and that was called.
So every time you say that, that's what I think.
Like the all thing.
Oh. The all thing.
We haven't done it. So we don't know what to call it, because we don't actually know what's going to happen, except for me and Jamie are going to come together and bring through stuff.
Yes, we are. Yeah. And we are going to do that in our private group, right? In our private group on Friday, May 22nd. I believe it will be 9 a.m. Eastern time and 3 p.m.
Like 2 p.m. UK time. Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to be doing a thing. It will be a magical thing.
And you were going to give us. Well, you were going to talk about that beautiful, beautiful flower that's behind you there, weren't you?
Yes, I was. So I have started feeling like every week when we go live here, that I want to bring forth just a little small segment of, I haven't really fully thought of a name of what I want to call it yet, but it feels kind of like cosmic messages, or, interconnectedness, interconnected messages. So we'll see what comes from that. But so every week I'm going to tune in and connect with the messengers of the universe, because one, it's what we're moving into is about remembering the interconnectedness of all, that we are connected to everything, and that the universe speaks to us, assists us, our higher selves, our families of light, all assist us through the divine messengers. There is not a limit to who these messengers can be. It can be people, it can be nature, animals, plants, and even flowers. And so this beauty, she wilted a little bit since yesterday. I have a beautiful lilac tree in my backyard. And oh my God, she makes this room just smell amazing right now. And it only blooms very quickly in May. And for about a week, I have been being drawn magically to my tree. And I kept putting it off and not going over there. And finally something called me, and my neighbors are probably thinking, what is she doing? I go up to the tree almost every day and smell it. This is smelling the lilacs. So finally I realized lilac wants to talk. It wants to communicate. And so I sat down with lilac's essence and I started working with it. I actually made some lilac water. I made some lilac honey. And I started asking lilac to tell me what it wanted to communicate to everyone. So lilac, which is beautiful because lilac is also the color of the pink amethyst that Rachel showed all of you. The lilac flower was known to represent first love. And that can be interpreted as first love. And I believe in Victorian times it was as a first love, reminding you of your first love. You remember how that feels about you the first time you ever experienced love. It's not to remind you of your first love. I feel it's to remind you of how love feels the first time you've ever experienced it. It doesn't have to be romantic. Was it a birth of a child? Was it a pet that, came into your life? What was that? And so this energy of lilac comes forward to teach us about higher love. So as I was connecting with it more, it started talking, because that was kind of what it's known for. But I kept feeling there's something, it almost felt magical, like in between worlds, fairy type of energy. And it was like seducing me, calling me to it. So I finally connected with it, and I'm like, there's something much more going on with you than what I know. And the colors are also very important. So specifically, mine are a lilac and periwinkle blue, these colors together here. So you've got the blue energy here of like throat, and you've got that soft lilac that comes in with like the crown area. And I felt this, you are a very spiritual flower. There's so much I have all these herbal books that talk about ancient lore and the spiritualism of flowers, and there's nothing in there on lilac. And I thought, well, so you're going to tell me. And sure enough, lilac did. Lilac showed me that it allows us to remember, one, the magic that it shows you is that love and the joy of life, helping you to remember the joy that there is in love, and that only love is real. But also lilac encourages us to connect with our spiritual selves. And we do this just by sitting. So sitting, if you imagine just being surrounded by lilacs and just pulling their energy in and just smelling them and sitting with them, stopping to smell the flowers, it helps us to receive the inspiration to go beyond logic, to go beyond the mind. And this has been coming up quite a bit. So I was blown away by this. It's saying drop out of the logical mind and come into the mind of the heart space. This is true intelligence. This is true spirituality and true inspiration. And through being able to do this, we receive our birthrights. We receive real truth. We see through the illusion. So connecting with the essence does not have to be in person. They have souls and spirits just like trees, just like crystals. You call forth the spirit of the lilac flower or tree and ask it to bring that divine inspiration to you, help you drop from the logical mind, come down into the center of your heart space. And I don't mean just your physical heart, although that's what is eventually, it's going to trickle onto that and you're going to feel it. What begins to come within, it's going to begin to exude out of you, to emanate out of you. And it is going to then ripple into
that is
everything
just
around
so
you.
beautiful, because I wanted to do a visualization today, or if you're not very visual, an intention, or whatever way you want to imagine it. And as you've been talking, I'm like, this is great, because this is just perfect. So Benji's grandmother is in her 70s, and she lives on the other side of Denmark, 6 hours away, and they can't see each other at the moment, even though she's going to visit, because she's coming to visit Thomas's sister, because he can't keep distance. And you know, there's the risk of infection and all the rest of it. And I was like feeling like, oh, because of all this, you know, when is there going to be a solution and all the rest of it? And I thought, I know, we can do like a positive emanation about this. So if you want to do this, and if you can, and you're not driving or operating with heavy machinery, if you're in a space where you can do this, just
yes.
close your eyes and just stay with the energies that Jamie has invoked, this beautiful lilac flower, the lilac tree, the essence of lilac, the lilac soul, the lilac mothers. We bring them into our circle, and imagine that we're all in a circle together, everyone listening now and in the future time, and that we are holding hands, like surrounded by this beautiful lilac power and love and healing. And from this beautiful, beautiful heart space, maybe send out a request that the solutions come in divine timing to the coronavirus, so that we can receive more love and not be so separated or afraid, or just this beautiful, like, solution-based lilac love going out, and just feel it in your heart. Imagine the solutions are coming, and imagine them infused with this beautiful lilac energy, and just feel your heart expand, because there's always solutions. Whatever wound or problem there is in the world, the opposite polarity is there. The healing is there already. The solution is there already. And it's within us. It's within the human race. And the more we can call on these plant mothers, these plant healers, it's such powerful medicine. And maybe, you know, if you want to, maybe you can sort of blow that energy out, just sending it out to wherever it's needed around the globe. We love the lilacs, and we have them just flowering just down the road from where we are. So I had to go and sniff them in public because I haven't got a garden. But I have a whole row of them just in the park across the road, and it's been really windy. So I'm asking that the wind dies down a bit, because it's blowing the smell away. I want the wind to stop so I can, like, go in there and just, like, you know, when you're, like, surrounded by it, it's got to be, apart from bluebells, it's my favorite smell. We don't get bluebells here in Denmark, so I have to make the most. I have to make the most of lilacs.
Oh, Yeah, everything is lilac right now. I opened my eyes and the light, everything is colored lilac. So I love that. And, using the power of the lilac to send, the resolution to, what's currently going on with coronavirus, and to any of your loved ones. In ancient lore, or maybe, I don't know if it was Victorian lore, the lilacs were actually a gift given to those to help boost their confidence in that they can successfully achieve something. Specifically, you would give, like somebody was getting ready to graduate from college, you would give them a lilac as part of their bouquet, because it brought in that whole, you can achieve this, gives you that confidence that this can successfully be achieved. So I kind of thought that was really something special.
And it feels like it's all going off in this sort of wave of lilac, doesn't it? It's like really like, wow, what an energy.
Carrying it off in the breeze with the flowers as they begin to wilt and leave the plant.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. I swear, I feel like I'm becoming like Mother Nature, because the plants, they're so special, and they've been really communicating in a new way that is just, I love. And it helps us come into interconnectedness. What we just did is a very powerful way to come into the awareness of the interconnectedness. And once you turn that light on, watch out, because
and when you do
starts to communicate with you.
Healing thing like that, it's just like, and we're all working together. There is this just beautiful wave going off, and yes, it really helps times like these.
Yeah.
So it's 8:05. Well, in Denmark, we've had an hour and 5 minutes. Didn't that go fast, Jamie? Every week I think.
It really did.
Really
time just flies when we're together.
And then because I write a few things down, we never get to talk about all of them. I always save some for the next one.
Yeah, we always have so much to talk about. So much develops. It just shows you how supported these conversations are, and the whole just being so free with it. We're just, we don't really have a whole lot of agenda with what we're going to talk about. It's just so supported that spirit just starts sending the information, and then we bounce off each other.
And it just like with that last thing, it just sort of like, it's like that figure 8. I know it's got a very long name, but I recognise something skut. Lemenskut. I know many people watching will know it, but my brain doesn't hold these things. But if people want to see the group, just scroll down the page. The link's there somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and I'll reshare it again so that people can find it. But again, why not? It's free for the month of May, and then you can see how it fits with you, and then continue on with us in June.
That's it for today, isn't it, Jamie?
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. I saw lots of people popping in there at the end. Meredith, Grace, Catherine, Donna, Annie. Thank you for being here, everybody. We appreciate you just being
and we'll
with
see
us
you again
today. Yes, we'll see you again. And those of you in the group, feel free to check out, because we've got lots of stuff coming in this week as well.